It's Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, we have 5 stories to race through in 5 minutes, so we better get going. Story number 1, the Aussie dollar is gaining friends slowly, with experts tipping the local currency could continue its recent run, whereby it's now trading at 6-month highs and head towards 70 US cents in coming months.
Now, the Aussie dollar is very important, and not just for holiday makers. It sets the price that overseas buyers need to purchase Aussie products at. Think commodities like iron ore or services like education. It also determines how much our imports cost. Think of a new TV. A weaker currency is good for economic growth because we sell more stuff offshore and consumers tend to buy less stuff from overseas, substituting locally made goods. For investors, the currency matters if you're putting your money into overseas assets. It was at about 80 US cents in February 2021, then fell to less than 63 US cents in late October. It's up about 5% since then to be trading just under 66 US cents. AMP Shane Oliver reckons there's 5 reasons to expect the currency to rise. It's low on a historical perspective. Long term, it's normally about 72 US cents. Short-term interest rate differentials between countries matter. At the moment, that's working for the Aussie dollar. Commodities look to have entered into a new super cycle. Fourth, we have a current account surplus. That should support the Aussie. And finally, sentiment towards the currency is yet to turn. If it does, we could see it appreciating against US dollar and other currencies.
How much, Sean, would it actually appreciate against the greenback?
Well, Oliver forecasts it could shift up beyond 70 US cents next year. Several of the major bank economists agree the dollar is on the rise. The main risk in all that is if economies slip into recession. Now, in tough times, people want to hold the US dollar. That would work against the Aussie. Beyond the US dollar, on a trade-weighted index, which measures the currency against our trading partners, the local unit has picked up a bit as well. What does it all mean? Well, if you're an investor or an importer or an exporter, a significant shift in the Aussie dollar can make a big difference to your business.
Okay, moving on to story number 2 now. In the Home Affairs Secretary, Michael Pizzullo, has been sacked from his role over dealings with lobbyists and alleged efforts to exert political influence during the Turnbull and Morrison governments.
It's the first time a federal department head has been dismissed for misconduct. An independent inquiry determined Pizzullo had breached the Australian Public Service Code of Conduct at least 14 times. We don't know all the details, but there were 5 main allegations. 1, that he used his duty, power, status and authority to seek to gain a benefit or advantage for himself. 2, he engaged in gossip and disrespectful critique of ministers and public servants. 3, failed to maintain confidentiality of sensitive government information. 4, failed to act apolitically in his employment. And 5, failed to disclose a conflict of interest. Pizzullo worked for Coalition and Labor governments. He became Secretary of the Immigration Department during the Abbott government. In December 2017, he was appointed to head up the Department of Home Affairs, where he reported to Peter Dutton. Now, he's paid about $900,000 a year. He will not receive any payout, though, because there were changes to the rules by the Remuneration Tribunal just last Friday.
Oh, timing. Okay, moving on to story number 3. Hamilton Island, one of the best-known tourist spots in the country, is no longer for sale, with the Oatley family deciding to keep it, Sean.
The island was, according to media reports, worth around $1 billion, and the family inherited it in 2016 alongside other businesses. From Robert Oatley, that's Bob Oatley to most of us, he was a winemaker, sailor, very well-known individual. The family had asked investment bank UBS to undertake a strategic review about what to do with the island. It's about 740 hectares. It can accommodate about 5,000 people. Developed back in the 1980s, sold to Bob Oatley for about $200 million 20 years ago. Thing is, it sounds as if they can't find a buyer. Well, they can't find a buyer at $1 billion. That's according to media reports. Can't confirm that one. Anyway, the family are keeping it.
Story number 4, there's pressure on the insurance companies. So, Sean, perhaps we shouldn't be surprised if the cost of insuring the car or the house jumps even further.
Yesterday, the country's biggest insurer, QBE, said inflation is continuing to have an impact on car and home cover. Last month, rival IAG said pretty much the same thing. QBE said inflation in Australia, along with tough crop conditions for its North American operations, will cause some strain on the business this year. The good news for shareholders, however, is a relatively benign trend in natural disasters over the past 6 months or so. Gross written premiums, which is a proxy for insurance contracts, volume and values, gross written premiums are set to rise 10% for the year. QBE said that's what I'm talking about, saying that insurance premiums are going to rise. In the Australia Pacific region, premium rates have accelerated 12.5% in the past quarter. Wow, that's a big jump. Retention rates of customers remain relatively stable at 86%. That means people are paying those higher premiums. Next time you get a bill for your car or home insurance, be careful.
Story number 5, last one. A Catholic priest, Sean, has been stripped of his administrative duties after allowing a pop star to jump around his church for a provocative music video.
Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello has been demoted after opening the doors of his New York church to be used as a set for a Sabrina Carpenter music video, according to the Telegraph of London. Dressed in a rather tight top and tights, Carpenter uses the altar of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Annunciation Parish in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, as her stage as she parades around upright pastel-coloured coffins, one of which reads, "Rest in peace, B." You know the rest of that one. The American singer struts around the church, apparently mourning a number of her would-be suitors. The Diocese of Brooklyn said it was appalled by the performance at the 19th century church. Mind you, according to the New York Times, the video has been viewed more than 9.7 million times.
Okay, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed Business News wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.